So dear students, in this session we are going to learn about the fourth colligative property, that is osmotic pressure of solution. Osmotic pressure of solution. In order to understand what is this osmotic pressure, first we should know what is osmosis. So let us learn about osmosis first. Osmosis. So dear students, you might have seen that when tilted flowers are kept in water, they become fresh. Or when raw mangoes, they are put into the salt, they are shrinks. The size of the mango is going to decrease. So what is this? So this is nothing but osmosis. And what is osmosis means? It is the flow of solvent molecules. Solvent molecules. So how they are flowing is important. Suppose if we have taken solvent molecules and other side we have solution, then the solvent molecules start flowing from solvent to solution side across a semi-permeable membrane. The process is called osmosis. We can also define osmosis in other way. Suppose if you are taking dilute solution and concentrated solution, or we can say lower concentrated solution and higher concentrated solution. Now what happens? The solvent molecules start flowing from lower concentrated solution to higher concentrated solution across a semi-permeable membrane. So this phenomena is called osmosis. So the flow of solvent molecules from lower concentrated solution to higher concentrated solution across a semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. So now the question will arise, what is this semi-permeable membrane? So semi-permeable membrane, so generally known as SPM, semi-permeable membrane. So it is a membrane which allow the passage of or which allow the flow of only solvent molecules but not solute particles. A membrane which allow the flow of only solvent molecules but not solute molecules or solute particles through it. So it is called semi-permeable membrane. So semi-permeable membrane is a membrane which allow the passage of or which allow the movement of only solvent molecules, but not the solute particles, is called semi-permeable membrane. So semi-permeable membrane is of two types. So we have synthetic semi-permeable membrane, also known as artificial SPM, or we can have natural semi-permeable membrane also. So example for natural semi-permeable membrane are pig's bladder. Our skin is also a semi-permeable membrane. Similarly, parchment paper, and we can have animal membrane. So when we come to artificial SPM, artificial semi-permeable membranes, so cellophane, it is a polymer. Cellophane is a artificial SPM. Similarly, cupric ferrocyanide coated on a support, coated on a pot, it will also behave as a artificial semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so here we have a lower concentrated solution, higher concentrated solution. Now there is a flowing of solvent molecules takes place. Now the question will come, in osmosis, why solvent molecules move from solvent to solution, or dilute to concentrated one, or lower concentrated to higher concentrated? So dear students, remember the concept of vapor pressure. So whether vapor pressure of solvent is more or solution is more? Yes, obviously it is solvent. Obviously it is lower concentrated solution or dilute solution. So therefore, there is always a higher vapor pressure is there for solvents in a lower concentrated solution. So which is higher than the higher concentrated solution. So therefore, solvent molecules on their own, they start moving from lower concentrated to higher concentrated solution. So that's why osmosis takes place. So let us write the definition. So the flow of solvent molecules, the flow of solvent molecules from lower concentrated solution to higher concentrated solution through a semi-permeable membrane. So the process is called, this phenomena is called osmosis. So this process is called osmosis. Next, coming to semi-permeable membrane. So in short, I am calling it as SPM. Okay. So it is a membrane which allows only movement of solvent molecules but not solute particles. Now why it is so? Because solvent molecules are having smaller size, so that's why they will pass from this membrane, whereas solute particles are having large size, hence they cannot pass. So very simple. Okay, so a membrane which allows the movement of only solvent molecules but not solute particles through it is called semi-permeable membrane. I have already told you two types of semi-permeable membranes we can have, natural and artificial. So example for natural SPM, natural semi-permeable membrane. So for natural semi-permeable membrane we can have parchment paper. I have told you our skin is also a semi-permeable membrane. Pig's bladder. Then animal membrane. We can have animal membrane. So etc. Next, artificial SPM. So sometime for 1 mark, give an example for artificial semi-permeable membrane. Like that we can have a 1 mark question. So cellophane. Okay, then we have cupric ferrocyanide. Coated on porous spot. So it requires a support for that. Okay. So if it is coated on a porous spot, it will behave like a semi-permeable membrane. So now it's time to tell you what is this osmotic pressure. So in order to understand osmotic pressure, so now consider this figure. So the next concept is osmotic pressure. And this osmotic pressure is represented by symbol pi. Okay. So dear students, see, while defining osmosis, we are taking dilute and concentrated, or lower concentrated and higher concentrated solutions, or we can take pure solvent and solution. So we are taking different solutions here. So among that, we are considering movement of solvent molecules. Okay, in order to define this osmotic pressure, so let us take in a simple way. So let us take solvent and solution. Okay. Just to make you understand what is this. So this one is a semi-permeable membrane, call it as SPM. So this side we have, solvent, say it is pure solvent, and say it is solution. Okay. Hope you are understanding. So this side we have solution. So this side we have pure solvent molecules. So now what happens? The solvent molecule start moving from pure solvent to solution side. So osmosis takes place in this way. Am I right? Solvent start moving from pure solvent to solution side, or dilute solution to concentrated solution side, or lower concentrated solution to higher concentrated solution side. So now what happens? Why solvents are flowing from this side to this side means, I have already told you here, vapor pressure is more. So that's why solvents are moving from this side to this side across the semi-permeable membrane. So dear students, now let us so solvent molecules start coming from this side. Okay, so now it is because here vapor pressure of this solvent is more. Okay, so now let us apply some pressure on solution side. So now let us apply some pressure on solution side. Say it is the piston, and we are applying some external pressure towards concentrated solution side. Let us apply some pressure on solution side. Now what happens? So osmosis go on taking place until so the external pressure applied and the vapor pressure of the solvents becomes equal. So when they become both of them equal, so this osmosis go on takes place. If the pressure applied, if the external pressure applied, okay, after equilibrium what happens? So this external pressure makes the solvent molecules present in the solution to flow. So at the particular point when both vapor pressure and this external pressure both are in equilibrium, so this osmosis stop. Okay, so in solvent side we have vapor pressure, in solution side we are having some extra pressure, external pressure. So when both the pressures become equal, When both the pressures becomes equal, means the solution has got equilibrium. Now the osmosis stop. Osmosis stop. The solvent molecules which are moving from solvent to solution side are from lower concentrated to higher concentrated solution stops, means osmosis is going to stop. Such external pressure which is applied on concentrated solution side which stop osmosis is called osmotic pressure. Okay, so the external pressure applied on concentrated solution side which stops the osmosis is called osmotic pressure. So let us write the definition of osmotic pressure. So definition of osmotic pressure, which is represented by pi. So it is also important. It is important question for 2 marks. What is osmotic pressure? Show that it is a colligative property. Okay. So now the external pressure applied on concentrated solution applied on concentrated solution which stops osmosis is called osmotic pressure. Yes, it is the external pressure that is applied on concentrated solution side which stops osmosis. So this external pressure is called osmosis and it is represented by pi. So now this osmotic pressure is a colligative property. It is a colligative property because it depends upon number of solute particles. So this osmosis is a colligative property because it depends upon number of solute particles. Now for dilute solutions, see this pi value solution, pi means osmotic pressure, pi is proportional to molarity of the solution. Pi is proportional to molarity, not molality, molarity. So I am taking a C here, molarity of solution at a given temperature, Okay, so therefore I can write, so at a given temperature, so therefore I can write, so this pi is proportional to molarity C at a given temperature T. So therefore pi is proportional to C into T. What is C here? Here C is molarity of solution. So now, so pi is equal to, let us take proportionality constant, and that proportionality constant is capital R. So what is capital R? So R is a gas constant. Where R is a gas constant. Okay. So now let us write the value of C. What is C? Molarity. What is molarity? Moles of the solute divided by volume of solution. So N2 divided by V. So in place of pi, we can have the value of C. C is nothing but N2 divided by V. So N2 by V R into T. Again, what is N2? number of moles of solute is equal to mass of solute divided by molar mass of solute, W2 divided by M2. Let us substitute the value of M2 here. So therefore pi is equal to in place of M2 you will get W2 RT divided by M2 into V. So this is the expression which shows that our osmotic pressure is a colligative property. So this expression shows that osmotic pressure is a colligative property. So now by using this expression you can calculate molar mass of solute, M2 value. What is M2 here? Molar mass of solute. What is V here? See, it has come from molarity. That's why we should always in liters. Volume of the solution we should always take it in terms of liters. So now what is W2? Mass of solute in grams. R is a gas constant that changes. Okay, T is the temperature in Kelvin. So for calculation of M2 value, this expression becomes M2 is equal to W2 RT divided by pi into V. W2 RT divided by pi into V is the expression. So that can be used to solve important problems on molar mass of solute that can be asked for 3 marks. So 3 marks. So now let us solve such type of problem. So let us solve a 3-mark problem based on osmotic pressure. Okay. So dear students, remember that so there are 4 colligative properties. Among these 4 colligative properties, so definitely you will get a 3-mark problem on these colligative properties. Based on calculation of molar mass of solute. Means to calculate M2 value, we have to calculate M2 value. Okay. So now here is a problem. 200 cm cube of an aqueous solution of a protein. 200 cm cube. Centimeter cube means it is in milliliter of an aqueous solution of a protein. An aqueous solution of protein. Contains 1.26 gram of protein. 1.26 gram of protein. Okay. The osmotic pressure of such a solution is at 300 Kelvin is found to be 2.57 into 10 raised to minus 3 bar. Calculate the molar mass of protein. Calculate the molar mass of protein. So here indirectly we have to calculate the molar mass of solute here. So because our protein is a solute here, so already I have read the problem. So 200 cm cube, 200 ml of aqueous solution is given. So volume of solution 1.26 gram. So mass of solute is given osmotic pressure is given, temperature is given, you need to calculate molar mass of protein. That is nothing but molar mass of solute. Okay, so what is the given data? Solution. So very simple problem. Solution. So what is given? See here, mass of protein, that is W2. W2 is equal to 1.26 grams. Okay. The osmotic pressure pi value is given. So pi is equal to 2.57 into 10 raised to minus 3 bar. Okay. So what is V, volume of solution? It is 200 cm cube. Compulsory we have to convert this volume of solution into liters. Why we should convert into liters means, so this volume of solution is from molarity. So moles of solute divided by volume of solution in liters. So that's why compulsory you have to convert V in liters. So after converting liter means, so just divide it by 1000, 0.200 liters. Okay. Now we got the volume also. So next, yes, temperature is given. Capital T is equal to, it is 300 Kelvin. So one more thing what we need is capital R. The value of capital R, gas constant, it is 0.083 liter bar per mole per Kelvin. Dear students, remember that. So here pi is in bar, that's why R value should also be taken in bar. Pi value is given in bar. So we have different units of the pressure. We have atmosphere, we have bar, we have pascals. Okay. So depending upon the value of pi, you need to take the value of R also. So it is in bar, that's why I have taken the value of R also in bar. So now what is the formula to calculate M2 value? Already we have. So M2 is equal to, so this M2 is equal to W2RT. M2 is equal to W2RT divided by pi into V. So W2 value is 1.26 into R value is 0.083 into T is 300 Kelvin divided by pi value is 2.57 into 10 raised to minus 3 into volume of solution is 0.200. So after solving, when you solve completely, you will get the answer as 61038. 61038.91. So now M2 value is this one because it is a protein. So generally proteins are, they are polymers. They are having large molecular mass. Okay. So what is the unit of M2 molar mass? It is gram per mole. The unit is in gram per mole. So this is about a problem on osmotic pressure. Problem on osmotic pressure. Okay. Next we'll see what is isotonic solution, what is hypertonic and hypotonic solutions. So dear students, I hope you understood what is osmotic pressure. So it is the external pressure applied on concentrated solution side which stop the osmosis is called osmotic pressure. So dear students, if two solutions are having same osmotic pressure, two solutions having same osmotic pressure at a given temperature, so these solutions are called isotonic solution. So two solutions having same osmotic pressure at a given temperature are called isotonic solution. Example, fluid inside the blood cells. Fluid inside the blood cells is isotonic with 0.9% mass by volume NaCl solution, which is also known as normal saline. See, whenever we get diseased, so whenever we get disease, we are going to inject with some normal saline. normal saline. What is that? 0.9% mass by volume of NaCl solution. So our blood cells or the fluid inside the blood cells is having same osmotic pressure with that of that normal saline. So that's why it accepts easily into our body. Okay. So two solutions having same osmotic pressure, two solutions having same osmotic pressure at a given temperature, are called isotonic solution. Example, it is important for exam. Example, fluid inside the blood cells. Is isotonic with 0.9% mass by volume of 0.9% mass by volume. You know the meaning of what is mass by volume percentage. Already we have told you while discussing the concentration units. 0.9% mass by volume of NaCl solution. So it is standard one. 0.9% mass by volume NaCl solution. So the fluid inside the blood cell is isotonic with 0.9% mass by volume of NaCl solution, which is also known as normal saline. So next we will see what is hypertonic solution. Next one is hypertonic solution. So very simple, a solution which has higher osmotic pressure, higher osmotic pressure than a given solution at the given temperature is called a hypertonic solution. So dear students, here the given solution has more osmotic pressure. This solution has more osmotic pressure. More osmotic pressure means what? So it has osmotic pressure greater than 0.9% mass by volume of NaCl solution. So higher osmotic pressure in the sense it has more osmotic pressure than 0.9% mass by volume of NaCl. Suppose when RBCs are normal cells, they are placed in seawater. So seawater is a hypertonic solution. Okay. So now seawater more osmotic pressure, RBCs less osmotic pressure. Now the solvent starts moving. So how the solvent is going to move means, so now see in RBCs because the seawater has more osmotic pressure, the solvent start moving from RBCs into seawater. As a result, what happened? The cell size shrinks. The size of the RBCs will shrinks. Okay. So when RBCs are placed in a solution which has osmotic pressure greater than 0.9% mass by volume of NaCl solution, then the size of the RBCs is going to shrink, or the size of the RBCs decreases. This point is very important. Many times in the examination it has been asked for 1 mark. Okay. So a solution whose osmotic pressure is osmotic pressure is higher than given solution, at the same temperature, because with temperature the osmotic pressure is going to change. Solution at the same temperature. Okay, example, when RBCs are placed in seawater, so seawater has more osmotic pressure. Okay, so seawater, when RBCs are placed in seawater, so water passes out of the RBCs. So solvent molecules start flowing from RBCs to seawater. Why it is so? Because for RBCs osmotic pressure is less, and for seawater osmotic pressure is high. So that's why, so water passes out from the RBCs. As a result, the size of the RBCs shrinks or the size decreases. Okay, so water passes out of the cell, and cell shrinks. Water passes out of the cell. Why it is so? Due to osmosis. And cell shrinks. Shrink means their size is going to decrease. So I'll write once again, size decreases. This point is very, very important. Size decreases, or cells are going to shrink because the water passes out from the cell to seawater. So that is the concept. Next, coming to hypotonic solution. So simple one, if you understand what is hyper, you will understand hypotonic solution also. Hypotonic solution. So now a solution which has lower, see here, higher than the given solution. So now a solution whose osmotic pressure is lower than the given solution. A solution whose osmotic pressure is lower than the given solution is called a hypotonic solution. So if the same RBCs, if they have placed in normal water which has less osmotic pressure than 0.9% mass by volume of NaCl solution. So now what happens? So this water or this hypotonic solution which contains solvent molecules, so solvent molecules start moving from hypotonic solution to RBCs. So in case of hypertonic solution, what happens? Water passes out of the RBCs. Here water passes into the RBCs. As a result, the size of the RBCs increases or the cells swells up. Cells are going to swell or RBC size is going to increase. Okay. So a solution whose osmotic pressure is lower than or lesser than a given solution at the same temperature is called a hypertonic solution. Example, when RBCs are placed in hypotonic solution. So for hypotonic solution you can take normal water. Hypotonic solution means, hypotonic solution in the sense its osmotic pressure is less than 0.9% mass by volume of NaCl. You just keep this 0.9% mass by volume as standard one. If it is equal, isotonic. If it is higher, hypertonic. If it is less, osmotic pressure is lesser than 0.9% mass by volume, then it is hypotonic solution. So okay, when RBCs are placed in hypotonic solution, when RBCs are placed in hypotonic solution, due to osmosis the cells swells up. Due to osmosis, actually the water passes into RBCs. Water passes into RBCs from hypotonic solution, because solvents start moving from hypotonic solution to RBCs. So that's why due to osmosis cells swells. Size increases. Their size increases. So that is the concept. Okay. So this is about isotonic solution, hypertonic solution and hypotonic solution. Next, moving to one more very important concept. So reverse osmosis. So very important for exam. Reverse osmosis. In short, it is called RO. You might have heard RO. RO is water purifiers. Yes, you might have seen RO, water purifiers. Okay. So in order to understand what is this reverse osmosis, once again let me draw a setup for osmosis. Okay. So I am taking seawater here. Seawater and pure water. Pure water as pure solvent and seawater is a solution. Seawater is a solution. Okay. So as usual, this is a SPM, semi-permeable membrane. Okay. So this is fresh water or pure water. Okay. So now see, dear students, this one is a important technique. What can be that can be used to purify seawater. That can be used for the purification of seawater into fresh drinking water. Okay. So now this one is it is a seawater. It is seawater, and this one is a normal water. So this is a fresh water. Fresh water in the sense, so we have taken fresh water and salt water. Salt water is nothing but seawater we have taken. So this technique is used to purify seawater or to convert seawater into fresh water. Seawater into fresh water. Okay. So now, towards seawater we are going to apply pressure which is greater than pi. So we are going to apply pressure, but this pressure must be greater than osmotic pressure. So dear student, hope you have understood what is osmotic pressure. It is the external pressure that must be applied on concentrated solution to stop the osmosis. So here also we are applying some pressure. But this pressure is greater than osmotic pressure. Okay. So when we apply this osmotic pressure, what happens? Osmosis stops. So before having any type of pressure here, what happens? So solvent molecule flow from normal water to seawater. Solvent molecule generally they are moving from lower concentrated to higher concentrated one. So as usual, here also solvent molecules are flowing from water to seawater, because seawater is a solution here. Okay. So now if you apply some osmotic pressure, osmosis stops. So let us apply some more pressure. Let us apply some more pressure. So that's why pressure is greater than osmotic pressure. I am taking the pressure which is greater than osmotic pressure. Now solvent molecules start moving from sea water to fresh water. So the water molecules start flowing from sea water to fresh water. As a result, we can convert sea water into fresh water. So you might have seen that the process of osmosis is reverse here. So generally in osmosis what happens? Solvent molecule flow from lower concentrated to higher concentrated solution. So now what's happening here? Here solvent molecules are flowing from lower concentrated, instead of lower to higher concentrated to lower concentrated solution. So it is not spontaneous. It is when you apply the pressure greater than osmotic pressure. We should apply some pressure here. We should apply a pressure which is greater than osmotic pressure. Then the solvent molecules start flowing from higher concentrated solution to lower concentrated solution. So such a process is called reverse osmosis. So generally to carry out this process a very high pressure is required. And the important application. So what is reverse osmosis? Mention its application. A very important 2 mark question here. So application is, it is used in the desalination of sea water to remove the salt content of the sea water, or to convert sea water into fresh water. We are going to use this technique. And the semi-permeable membrane which is used for this purpose is a cellulose acetate placed over a so here we are using cellulose acetate. Semi-permeable membrane used for this purpose is a cellulose acetate which is fixed over a support here. Okay, and a very high pressure is required for this setup. Okay, so that's why this reverse osmosis setup is it is not economical, it is somewhat costlier. Okay, so by using this reverse osmosis we can convert sea water into fresh water. That is the application. It is used in desalination, to removal of salt from sea water. It is used in desalination of sea water. Okay, so let us write. When a pressure greater than, so definition I am writing, when a pressure greater than osmotic pressure, when a pressure greater than osmotic pressure is applied on see where we are applying on higher concentrated solution. So or you can simply say solution side. Then the solvent molecules start flowing from what? Solution side to solvent side. Solution side to solvent side. Okay. Applied on solution side, solvent molecules flow from solution to solvent side across the through a semi-permeable membrane. So here also same setup is there. So here what happens means the osmosis is going to reverse. In osmosis what happens? solvent flows from lower concentrated to higher concentrated solution. Here I have taken a solution, that is sea water, and I have taken fresh water, that is the pure solvent. So here what happens, solvent molecules are flowing from solution to pure solvent, solution to solvent side. Okay, solution to solvent side across the semi-permeable membrane. As the process is reversing here, that's why it is called reverse osmosis. So dear students, it is very important for exam. Okay, so coming to application. So it's application. So it is used in desalination. Desalination means removal of salt. Desalination of sea water. It is used in desalination of sea water. Desalination of sea water means we can remove the salt particles which is present in sea water. So it means sea water can be converted into fresh water by using the technique of reverse osmosis. Hence this reverse osmosis is important one. Here the semi-permeable membrane used is a cellulose acetate. Cellulose acetate which is kept on a support, so which behave as a semi-permeable membrane. So this semi-permeable membrane is permeable only for solvent molecules, but it is impermeable for ions or different salts. So different salts or ions, it is impermeable. For impurities it is impermeable. So it allows the passage of only fresh water molecules, or it allows the only pure solvent molecules to pass through it. That's why it is used in reverse osmosis. Yes, the next concept is abnormal molar mass. Abnormal molar mass. So the name itself indicating it is the molar mass which is either higher or lower than its normal molar mass. See dear students, by using all these colligative properties, relative lowering of vapor pressure, elevation of boiling point, depression in freezing point, even by using osmotic pressure, we can calculate the molar mass of the solute. So yes, the molar mass which is obtained from these colligative property is either higher or lower than its expected value or normal value. Such a molar mass is called abnormal molar mass. So the molar mass determined by colligative property is either higher or lower than its normal value. Such a molar mass is called abnormal molar mass. I will tell you what is the reason behind it. The molar mass determined by colligative property is molar mass determined by colligative property is found to lower or higher than expected or normal molar mass, expected or normal value. Such a molar mass is called abnormal molar mass. Abnormal molar mass. So dear students, why there is a change? Why the molar mass determined by colligative property will be either higher or lower than its normal value. So why it is so means it is because of the see in solution some of the solute undergo association. They undergo associations. So sometimes two molecules become one molecule because of hydrogen bonding. And in case of ionic in case of ionic solutes, when they dissolve in water, they undergo dissociation. So one formula units may convert into two or more than two ions. But our colligative properties depends upon what? Number of solute particles. So that's why their molar mass can be changed. So what I am telling is, if you consider ethanoic acid, acetic acid, CH3COOH, if it is dissolved in benzene, it undergo association. I will show how it is. So if acetic acid or ethanoic acid, when it is dissolved in benzene, it undergo association by forming hydrogen bonds like this. Okay, so here what happens? Two molecules becomes one when they dissolved in solution. So they are combining, they are associating. So what happens here? So ethanoic acid undergo association. It undergo association. As a result, what happened? The molar mass what we are obtaining will be lesser than what its expected value has, because so majority of the molecules they will two molecules becomes one. So this process is called dimerization. It is a dimer. So two molecules becomes one because of hydrogen bonding. Suppose if you take NaCl in water, sodium chloride when dissolved in water, what happens? So this NaCl will dissociate. It will dissociate into Na plus Cl minus. So we are considering only one formula unit, but in solution it will dissociate into 2 moles. So this process is called dissociation. So the salt will dissociate into its ions. So because of this association or dissociation, there is a abnormal molar mass. So there is a change in the molar mass, the exact value, there is change in the exact value of molar mass. So later, a scientist Van 't Hoff introduced a factor small I, which is known as Van 't Hoff's factor, which represent the extent of association or dissociation of solute in the solution. So Van 't Hoff's factor, next slide heading. So Van 't Hoff's factor, which is represented by small I. See, scientist Van 't Hoff introduced a factor which is known as Van 't Hoff's factor. It is it expresses the extent of association or dissociation of solute, in the solution. So Van 't Hoff factor I express the extent of association or dissociation of solute, in solution. What does Van 't Hoff's factor I value indicate? what does Van 't Hoff factor I value express? So it express the, or it account for the extent of association or dissociation of a solute. Extent of association or dissociation of solute in the solution is represented by the value Van 't Hoff factor. So dear students, for this academic year, so those who are going to write the exam, annual exam, second PUC annual exam in 2021, for them this concept abnormal molar mass and Van 't Hoff's factor has been removed. It is. So let us see what is the definition of this Van 't Hoff's factor. So it is a simple one. So Van 't Hoff's factor I is the ratio of normal molar mass to abnormal molar mass, or we can also define I value as it is the ratio of observed colligative property to the normal colligative property, calculated colligative property. So this I value can be defined as, I value is the ratio of normal molar mass to the normal molar mass to the abnormal molar mass. Or we can also define this I value as, I value can also be defined as, it is the ratio of observed colligative property divided by calculated colligative property. Observed colligative property to the calculated colligative property. Okay, so now, so this one has got some significance. So significance of I value. So what is the significance means? So by looking into the Van 't Hoff's factor I, you can decide whether the solute undergo association or dissociation. So how means significance of I? If I value is less than 1, say if I value is less than 1, then the solute undergo association. Less than 1 means less than 1. So 2 molecules becomes 1. Okay, so that's why if I value is less than 1, then the solute undergo association. It means solute undergo association. So similarly, if I value is greater than 1, means more than 1. So NaCl is there. When you dissolve in water, so 1 mole of ionic solid becomes 2 moles of ions. So number of moles increases. It is called dissociation. If I value is greater than 1, solute undergo dissociation. So it means solute undergo dissociation. So similarly, if I value is equal to 1, it means solute neither undergo association nor it undergo dissociation. So solute does not undergo either association or dissociation. Solute does not undergo either association or dissociation. Okay, so like that, depending upon the I value, you can decide whether the solute undergo association or dissociation. Initially this was being asked in many annual examination for 1 mark, but this academic year, so those who are writing for 2021, you may not get questions for PU exams. I am talking about Karnataka PUC examinations. So this syllabus has been removed. Okay. So but this knowledge is required. Okay. Coming to examples. If you take I value for sugar. So C12H22O11. So it is not going to either dissociate or associate. So that's why for sugar or for glucose, the I value is 1. For sugar, the I value is 1. If you take NaCl, you know that NaCl will dissociate into 2 ions, Na plus and Cl minus. That's why I value is 2. Similarly, if you take for KCl, so this I value is once again 2 because it dissociates as K plus and Cl minus. If complete dissociation takes place, then only I value is 2. Or the value can be between 1 to 2. The value can be between 1 to 2. It is greater than 1, but it reaches to 2 when complete dissociation. So similarly, for K2SO4, how it will dissociate? It will dissociate as 2K plus ion and 1 SO4 2 minus ion. So totally there are 3 ions. So therefore for K2SO4 I value is 3. When complete dissociation of K2SO4 takes place, then the I value is maximum 3. So its value ranges between 2 to 3. Okay, 2 to 3. It can include the 3 also when complete dissociation takes place. So this is about solutes which completely undergo dissociation, for them exact values like I is equal to 2, I is equal to 2 for KCl, I is equal to 3 for K2SO4 takes place. If they are not going to dissociate completely, then the value will be fraction. Okay. So now suppose if I value is present, if I value is given while solving the problems, so okay, we have to introduce them while solving the problems of problems on molecular mass or molar mass of solute. For example, while solving relative lowering of vapor pressure problem, we have seen that P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught, already you know, is equal to, we have N2 divided by N1, or we can have W2 M1 divided by W1 M2. So just add I value here, I means multiply I into N2 divided by N1 we have to go for. So just multiply the right hand side of the expression with I value if I value is given in the problem. Okay. Similarly, for elevation of boiling point is represented by delta TB. So delta TB is equal to we have KB into small m, we have seen. So just add I, multiply the right hand side expression by I value when I value is given to you. So similarly, for freezing point, depression in freezing point, delta TF is equal to, we have KF into molality like this. So just we are going to multiply I value like this. I into Kf into M, we have to take the formula. So similarly, for osmotic pressure, fourth one, osmotic pressure pi is equal to I into N2 bar V RT. So in this session only I have told you N2 by RT divided by V, or we can have W2 RT divided by M2 into V. Just whatever the formula is, on the right hand side you just multiply with I value, you will get the answer for such problems in which I value is included. So this is the completion of second chapter of physical chemistry, that is solution. Thank you.